My name is Tony Eaton. I am the founder and the executive director at Down the Leash Service Dogs. I started this program about 2 years ago. I had a woman approach me at a grocery store. She had seen me with my service dog Ariel, and started to ask me, hey, how did you go about getting a service dog? She said that her husband was a combat vet and was really having a hard way to go with life, and she thought maybe that it might be something that she could do for her husband to help him and to be able to help him come out of this depression that he was in, and I had spoke with her for, gosh, we had sat there in the grocery store for probably a good 15-20 minutes to talk about this, and she really broke down and started to cry. And I could just tell that she was really desperate because her husband was in a really her husband was in a really bad way, and it just really hit home for me because I know when I was going through my worst times how I didn't know what to do until I got my dog. Once I trained my dog, it was a game changer for me, and was able to regain my life back. And now, full disclosure, I'm not a combat veteran. I served in the Marine Corps for a very short time, and my PTSD trauma comes from childhood trauma. I joined the Marine Corps back in 1990. Actually, 1989, really. I was on a delayed entry program and went in the Marine Corps in June of 1990, right after I graduated high school. And went through boot camp, went to infantry school, was in my MOS school when I blew out both my knees. And unfortunately, I ended up getting a medical discharge and was sent home. Um, Later down the road, I ended up joining the fire department and served about 4 years on the fire department, and seen a lot of really, really bad things that most people shouldn't see. Um, and then I ended up joining the police department. I served on a police department for about 11 years before I finally had to retire because my PTSD was really starting to haunt me, and some of the things that I was seeing, some of the trigger things that would really set me off, um, ended up causing me to ultimately retire from the police department. And so during that time, during that transition of retiring is when I started to train my service dog. I went through another program that was very similar to the one I have now. But unfortunately, they've gone out of business. And so going back to my conversation with this young lady at the grocery store, I I told her, I says, I'd like to help your husband if I can, and ended up meeting with him and had a really long breakfast. We shared a meal for about 4 hours at a restaurant. It was kind of nice because the restaurant let us have this little back room just pretty much all to ourselves for a while. And uh, so I tried helping him find a program that would actually train a dog for him or that he can get a service dog through. And unfortunately, we were kind of hitting roadblocks, and they weren't they weren't really receptive to helping him. And so I told my wife, I says, I think I'm going to help this guy. I think I'm going to do whatever I can to maybe help him train his own service animals. So I called him up and I said, hey, listen, bud, I want to help you. I want to help you whatever way I possibly can. And I said, I'm going to teach you how to train your own dog. Now, this gentleman was just blown away. He's like, I nobody's ever done that for me, and that's a pretty big commitment. And I told him, I says, yeah, I get it, and you know what, you're my brother, and I know we don't know each other very well, but as veterans, we are brothers, and that camaraderie is always there, whether you serve together or not. And so when I told him, I says, hey, listen, not only am I going to open this program up for you, but I think I'm going to open this up to other veterans. And so that's how we started as Down the Leash service dogs. I ended up getting a couple friends of mine that were in the dog training world that to come along and help. And we quickly, well, let me back up here. We started this program in my mom and dad's garage, and we very, very quickly outgrew that garage and ended up having to get. We had to get a place that was bigger, obviously. So we started renting the. Actually, we didn't rent it at first. It was donated to us. The Heron Masonic Lodge, which I'm actually a member of, and they had decided unanimously that they wanted to help my program grow, and so they donated the lodge to us. And it really was just supposed to be a temporary thing to kind of help us get on our feet until we can find a place that we can, maybe rent. And the lodge worked out so well for us. And the brethren there are just amazing. They're family to me. I mean, and so we started doing our training there at the Masonic Lodge, and we very, very quickly grew. We went from me and one veteran to now we're about 24 students, I think, is what we have enrolled now, and I have about 4 more that are interested in getting into the program. And we've had a few that have come and gone. Sometimes the program just isn't for everybody. It is a very large commitment. I mean, you're talking about a year to a year and a half to almost 2 years. And so that's how we were born. And I am just, I'm just beside myself at the what we've been able to accomplish. I set out to help knock the number down of veteran suicides because the number is just unacceptable. They claim that there's 22 veterans a day that commit suicide, and to me that's just unacceptable. One is unacceptable. Why is it that these guys are willing to sign up as kids, as teenager boys, teenage girls, and they're willing to go fight for this country to the death? They're fearless. They're ready to take on the world. And then when we get out, sometimes some of these guys and gals feel abandoned. They don't have their unit anymore. They don't have that camaraderie. And they get lost to their demons. And we lose them. So when I set out to do this program, it was my goal to save just one. Just one. But the more we grow, the more I want to save them all. And I know that's unrealistic. But I can tell you right now that Down the Leash Service Dogs is making a huge difference in my community with my brothers and sisters. It's making a huge difference with me. I asked a lot of my veterans to do a video, testimonials. I want to know what Down the Leash means to them. And I hear resounding family, love, hope, life. If anybody's been in this driver's seat, doing things like this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. They know what I'm feeling. It's so overwhelming sometimes. And I tell my students all the time, I tell them they're the reason why I'm here. They're my heroes. And I hate to be so emotional about this, but I want to tell you really why I do what I do. I firmly believe that I am my brother and sister's keeper. Matter of fact, that's on our challenge coin. I believe that if you feel that way, we're going to be there for them. We're going to be there to help one another out. And that's all I ever wanted to do. I just wanted to make a difference. It's because it's not about me. It's about them. And the great part about it is I get to heal in the process too. And I think some of my students, I hate to even call them students, they're my family. I love them. I really do. And they're the reason why I do this. And I'm so honored. I'm so grateful that I can actually be a part of something so much bigger than me. And I love seeing the growth. I love seeing the healing. Now, mind you, we're not a therapy. We're therapeutic. And we're there for one another. And for me, it reminds me of, the camaraderie I had when I was in the Marine Corps. You start off in boot camp and, you kind of bicker and argue, with your bunkmate or what have you. Sometimes you just don't even like your bunkmate. But I guarantee you, by the end of boot camp, you'd die for that guy. You'd take a bullet for him in an instant without hesitation. And that's what I feel with my students. And I'm just, like I said, I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this for them. And I'm glad that we're able to create a program that gives some hope back to this nation's, all these nations' heroes that are part of the program. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of beside myself. Very proud of every one of them that comes through this program. I've seen some amazing changes in some amazing people. And, it's just, I guess it's a labor of love for me. And I love what I do. And like I said, I love my veteran family. And, thanks for taking the time to listen.